So I've pretty much been through the gamut. Okay. Between myself, my husband, and my family members. It's like, okay, there's a lot of people out there that don't have kids, or their kids and grandkids all live out of state because they came to Arizona and so they didn't have to shovel snow. But now they need help. And so we need to create a team of people that can volunteer. We're doing these similar to this today. Gary actually had heard about our other one and asked me to bring in just these people from our total transition team. But I've got business cards over there if you need to have your trust rewritten. Rachel will be happy to help you with that. You need information on Medicare. Greg Bethany's, he's been doing mine and my husband's for years. But we didn't bring all of them people. We're trying to keep it to the 2 hours. So we just brought the ones that Gary thought you needed to hear from. Okay? Because I'm a realtor, I'm going to talk about the real estate industry, how it's been changing, and what the different buyers are. So if you need help selling a home, I'm here. Cammie is my partner. Cammie and I both are also staging professionals and project managers. We're approved through Angie, and we're approved through Revitalize, which is a program Cammie will talk about. And then Tracy's from Cottonwood Villages. She can talk about what they have out there. And then Leanne and her team there are over here at Sedona Winds. And as I was telling you with my older listings, I actually was taking my clients to tour these facilities. And usually what I would do was call and make an appointment, bring them in. I said, I want them to take a tour. I want them to meet some of your people. And I want them to have a meal, because food is important. And so these ladies have done that with me with a couple of my clients. And then we had Denise join our team, so she works for all the facilities and can help people that are on a specific budget to stay within the budget to find out that, you know, whatever it is they need, independent memory care, whatever. But it's like, there's a team of us out there that are willing to help. We're doing these every other month, and then where the churches have started asking us, can you do one at our church instead of, but we're trying to go around. Our first one was at the Methodist Church here in Sedona. Second one was out at on the greens in Cottonwood. Earlier this month we did Camp Verde. We did one out there because we realized seniors a lot of times have to, like me right now with my broken shoulder, I have to depend on somebody to drive me. And so we are moving around to different areas so that we're closer for people to come in and meet all of our team, ask the questions that they need to ask. You can set appointments with people, like to tour the facilities, set appointments for me if you want me to come in and take a look at your home. Cammie and I do downsizing. We've done what we consider hoarders homes. Hoarders homes where people just have everything within arm's reach, but they have no idea where to start downsizing stuff. So we're really good at organizing and setting up the estate sales and getting charities to pick up things that you want to donate and get you a tax deduction. A lot of people don't realize that when they sell a home, sometimes they sell a home for twice as much as they paid for it. You might end up with capital gains. So that's a tax issue, which we also have a tax accountant on our team. But those are just things that people are overwhelmed with. You can reach out to anybody on our team and they can put you in contact with whatever service it is that you need with somebody that's an expert in that. Right? All right. All right, sharing the future of the real estate industry. A lot of people don't realize that nowadays there's a buyer-broker required agreement. I, as a realtor, cannot show a home to anybody unless I have a buyer-broker agreement. The buyer-broker agreement and knowing whether or not people are financially able to buy a property. You don't want looky-loos coming through your home. They can do open houses. You don't have to have one. So if somebody walks into an open house that I'm doing, they can tell me if they have a buyer broker or if they don't have one. we can talk about dual agency. But those are different things that come up. But now, as realtors, Cammie's a realtor too with me at Coldwell Banker. And then she also helps me with my Hull Lacing Homes. Having the home downsized, getting it ready for the showings, pictures, marketing materials, all that kind of stuff is what we try to help with. But we have to have the buyer broker to show properties. There are really, right now, there's like 4 types of buyers. There's the first-time home buyers. Most of the first-time home buyers want something move-in ready. They're like my daughter. I was telling a few of you about the book that I wrote over there. Was because my 42-year-old daughter bought a home and she didn't know how to maintain it. And when I kept telling her what she needed to do, she goes, "Mom, you really need to write a book and make it very simple, easy instructions of what needs to be done, what time of the year, how often, like changing the filter in your refrigerator should be done twice a year. Your air filter should be done on a quarterly basis. Your dishwasher, most people, even my broker, didn't know, your dishwasher has a filter too. So if your dishwasher's throwing food back up on your dishes, it's because you haven't taken the filter out. And you could usually soak it in CLR or vinegar and water, overnight, and then clean it with a toothbrush, put it back in, that you're not having to buy things. But it was like, first-time home buyers, they just want the home ready to move into. They don't have to do anything to it. All right. Next. And these pictures of these houses are properties Cammie and I have both worked on. The second side are senior citizens that are looking to downsize. Like they have a big 2,000 or larger square foot home. When their kids, they bought the home when the kids were still at home. Now the kids are grown and they have grandkids and they don't longer want to have to take care of all that square footage. So they want to get to a smaller apartment type. But maybe they're not ready yet to get into a facility. The third type are families looking for multi-generational homes, which is what I told you we have. I have a 2-story, it's almost 3,000 square feet, but my husband and I live upstairs, the kids and grandkids live downstairs, the kitchen's upstairs, and we are on 2 lots because we wanted the extra play yard for my autistic grandson. But those are how we get buyers for those larger homes that seniors are wanting to move out of. We know how to market to the multi-generational families. The third type would be investors. Investors are handy when we need them. As Cammie and I have got one lady right now she's only 46 and she's in a pre-foreclosure situation because her health declined and she'd spent 60 days in the hospital while they were trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And she's got 30 days before they're going to foreclose on her. So Cammie and I made some phone calls. We actually have found at least one that had given her a reasonable price. But most of the time investors want a low ball price-wise. So it just kind of depends on, that's why it's important when you pick a realtor that they know, they have the contacts and they know how to approach the various situations. All right? All right, important information. How long when you're interviewing for realtors, how long have you been an active realtor in Sedona and the Verde Valley? What advanced designations do you have and how can that help me? One of my advanced designations is a risk management. And I got a lot of my original risk management from when I managed the senior community. But I also have a designation in that, a specialty in that field. How connected are you with the inspectors, licensed contractors, and then things that need to be done during the inspection period? There's a form that we call the BINSR, Buyer Inspection Seller's Response. There's usually a 10-day inspection period. When buyer writes an offer, they have 10 days to check everything out. And it's important, whether you're a realtor for the buyer or the seller, that you know where to go to get information. I can tell you some horror stories here in the Verde Valley. What is your experience in negotiating terms? I've had a couple of terms. My own home, when we bought it, it was already under contract and was supposed to close by the end of the next week. But I made a call to the other realtor, the listing agent, and I said, how secure is that offer? And she said, well, we were supposed to close next Friday, but the gentleman lost his job, so he can no longer qualify. I haven't got the paperwork in, but they're going to end up canceling. And so she said, if you want to write a backup offer, I'm happy to take that. And we wouldn't have our home today had I not reached out to that listing agent. And a lot of times you can talk through various situations. We've got a couple others that we're working on right now where it's not always just the price. Somebody might be able to do a higher price, offer a higher price, but they want the home in 30 days. But the seller needs 90 days. And so somebody could come in with a lower offer, but the terms have to be negotiated. And sometimes it's in the best interest for the seller to take the lower price because they can't get out in 30 days. Does that make sense? It's like knowing all those things that you can think outside the box are very important. Another thing that I've run into since I've been here, I've been a realtor for 22 years, knowing the county rules and planning and zoning and all that kind of stuff. There's a whole subdivision over in Rimrock that people split the lots illegally, and people bought those illegal lots. And now they can't do anything with them because they fell outside of the rules and regulations for that subdivision. And it's like, there's a whole mess. Even one of the realtors bought one of the lots, and then she found out it was illegally split. She can't build anything on it. The only way it can be built on is if all of the original pieces were put back together. And right now they're owned by 4 different people. And it's like trying to get all that put back together. The county's working on that. But it's like a nightmare for everybody that bought over there. But it's a lot of people that are coming up and taking listings, if they're out of Scottsdale or Fountain Hills or even Flagstaff and Prescott. They don't know Yavapai and Coconino County like your local agents know them. Matter of fact, Yavapai County, because of that specific subdivision, they know me by name. Because I had actually written an offer on a lot for a young couple to build on, and that's when we went over to see about what it would take to get a building permit. They said, oh, you can't build on that. That's one of 4 parcels that was split illegally. And then they gave you the hint about if there's a letter after the parcel number, you need to investigate that because it may or may not have been approved. I said, how could something like this happen? And they said, it's mostly the county's fault. Because people split the lots. They brought it to the recorder's office. The recorder is required to record anything that's brought to them. They assumed that the person bringing the recording in had already gone through a title company, and the title company had already checked everything, and it had been through planning and zoning to make the split. That word assumed is a big issue, because once it's recorded, then it goes to the county assessor's office, and they've been taxing these people on these illegally split lots for all these years, and it was like, this is really a mess. And so they've specifically assigned 1 or 2 guys to try to straighten this mess out. But it was like, yes, the subdivision was created in 1967, so the original developer has since passed away. The HOA went defunct in 1983. They went bankrupt. But that does not get rid of the CC&Rs and the rules and regulations for that subdivision. Those are forever in the state of Arizona. The only way you can get it changed is have everybody in the subdivision agree to make a change. So in 2007, Jim Ledbetter, who's a local attorney, a friend of mine, he got everybody that owned the lots in there to agree that the lots would not be split less than 2 acres. But there was already some out there that was already less than 2 acres. Those are the ones that can't be resold or they can't be built on unless they buy all the original pieces from the original subdivision map. That's why it's important to have a realtor that knows this area. Because that offer that I had written on that particular lot was listed by an agent out of Prescott Valley. She had actually sold it to her seniors that were selling it because one of them had had a health issue and weren't going to be able to build on it after all. I said, did you not even do your due diligence before you wrote an offer on this? No. I assumed the owner did, or my buyer did. It's like, most buyers don't know where to go to find out what they need to know. So that's why you need a realtor that knows what they're doing. Right, Kimmy? Because we've cleaned up a lot of disasters recently. Anyway, I'm going to turn it over now to Tracy. If you have any other questions about listing or about my book that I wrote, it has a checklist in the back that I created for Foothills Property Management when I was working for them, because they were sending quarterly handymen out quarterly to do things in the home. But the handyman didn't have a checklist to know what it was they were supposed to be doing when they got there. And they charged the minimum $75 an hour, I think, just to make the trip out there. So I created a checklist that this needs to be done monthly, this needs to be done quarterly, this needs to be done semi-annually, and this needs to be done annually. So that checklist is in the back of the book. My 45-year-old daughter said, Mom, write this book. So I did. All right, Tracy, just going to tell you a little bit about Cottonwood Villages. I've been there. I've had eaten there with one of my clients that will probably end up there.
Cool.
All right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tracy Shimikowski. I am the Sales and Business Director at Cottonwood Village. I've been there a little over 5 years, though I've lived in the Verde Valley since 1978. So I've been here a while, seen a lot of changes. Cottonwood Village is an independent living, assisted living, and memory care community. We are all in one building, 160 apartments total. So we have a variety where incoming residents can age in place. So if you move into independent living and you ultimately need assisted living, you can bring in home health to help bridge that gap before you'd have to move to our assisted living side of the building itself. And then if residents ultimately need memory care, they can go to our memory care area. Very small area, 21 apartments total. So the caregiver ratio with our memory care is 1 caregiver to every 5 residents. Our assisted living ratio is 1 caregiver to every 15 residents. And the reason for that is a lot of our residents in assisted living are still active, able to do a lot of their activities for daily living. So the caregiver ratio doesn't need to be as small. However, as those residents need more care, our caregiver ratio can grow. If you are interested in our community, you would ideally call and make an appointment with me. We can take walk-ins, but I can never guarantee my availability. So it's very important to schedule a time. I schedule it's about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the individual and what everything that they want to see. We can set it up to where you have a meal with our residents as well, and also partake in activities. You can also come even aside from touring with me. So if you tour the community and say you'd like to come back later and maybe experience an activity or a meal, definitely give me a call and we can get that all set up. We are a private pay community, meaning we do not take any type of government assistance. So that is something very beneficial to keep in mind. If an individual needs like Medicaid or All-Tex, they would not be able to reside at the community after they spent down their funds. So they would ultimately have to move again. Let's see, what else can I share with you? Any questions so far about Cottonwood Village?
Yeah,
Yes.
one quick question.
Sure.
Is it a nonprofit organization or a for-profit organization?
It is for profit. We are a publicly traded part of Sonita Senior Living, which is out of Texas.
Okay.
So our company just actually acquired CNL Healthcare. So we are now the 8th largest senior living in the US at 153 buildings at $3.3 billion value. So that was just recently. Yes, ma'am?
Are you going to get into approximate costs?
Yes, absolutely. So that is my next step. So independent living, we have a variety of floor plans. Everything from studios to 2 bedrooms. Independent living starts at $2,095 a month for a studio. I don't have them broken down quite all in my head, but up to $36.95 for a 2 bedroom. And this pricing includes meals, activities on site, all of your utilities except for TV and internet, which is only an additional $30. We also offer transportation to doctor's appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays in Cottonwood only. And then Wednesday, we do errand days. So if you need to go to the bank or the grocery store, and all of that is a drop-off and pickup. Assisted living starts at $34.95 and goes all the way up to a 2 bedroom at $56.95. However, that does not include your level of care. Assisted living gives you access to our care staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Care levels run 500, 1,000, or 1,500, depending on the individual's care needs. So the more they need care, the higher that level of care will be added onto their rent. And then memory care is all-inclusive, so you don't pay a separate care cost, and that starts at $56.50 a month and goes to $68.95 a month. And those are studios and 1 bedrooms. One of the things that we have kind of trialed is we have a lot of 2 bedrooms in our assisted living or our licensed side of our building. And we actually started splitting them into shared apartments. So these 2 bedrooms are split 2 bedrooms, a bedroom on each side with a living room and a full kitchen in the middle. And so that particular resident would have their own bedroom, bathroom, and then they would have access to the common area of the living room and the dining room area and kitchen. We've had a couple of partakers, but not too many people want to share. I think I can kind of understand that, right? I mean, you know, but the cost is, it actually helps. So, for instance, that 2 bedroom at $56.95 a month, split in half, is only $2,800 a month per person. So an individual who may not be able to afford a 2 bedroom or may not even be able to afford a studio, we could look at doing a shared setup. So they still have their privacy, which is very helpful.
Sisters and sister-in-laws.
Well, yes, exactly. Or friends. I mean, you know, folks who are friends.
So the 2 bedroom is a 2 bedroom, 2 bath.
So we have 2 types of 2 bedrooms. One is a 2 bedroom, 1.5 bath, and the other is a 2-2. It just all depends. Any other questions or thoughts? We do allow pets. Up to 35 pounds. It's, so you get a little pet. $750 non-refundable deposit. And as long as you have to license it through the city of Cottonwood, make sure it's current on all of its shots. To reserve, I guess you could say, an apartment or put your name on our list is called first right of refusal, which you're probably familiar with. It's a $2,000 community fee, and that's what's called an entrance fee. And basically, it places your name on the list for that type of apartment that you're looking to move into as first right of refusal. So if somebody else comes along and wants that particular apartment and you haven't moved in or taken what we call financial occupancy, I would call you and say, okay, are you ready to move in? Because I have somebody else who is interested in this apartment. Or would you like to wait for the next apartment to come available? And you just stay on my list for that phone call until you take occupancy of that particular apartment.
That's why it's important to work as a team. You've got this thing on the market and it hasn't sold yet. You
Yes.
put a down payment if your apartment came to pay the $2,000 to hold it for you while you're getting escrow closed.
Exactly. And one of the other things we encourage is don't wait to make this decision. Don't wait for that event that puts you in a position where you may not be able to have a choice. Do this while you have a choice. Research it while you have a choice. Lay all of that out. If you have family who said, that you say, okay, I've decided on either us or Sedona Winds. We actually partner with each other even though we are competitors. And so, lay that all out so that your family or friend or your representative knows this is where you want to go in the event something happens. Yes, ma'am.
Want to know your name?
My name is Tracy
Last name?
Shimikowski. Tracy S. works great. So that is definitely a piece of advice that I would pass on to you. Yes,
Where
ma'am?
are you located?
In Cottonwood. So we are located on the corner of Mingus and Willard. So we're about 2 blocks from the hospital and all of the doctors and facilities that are right there by the hospital as well. I think the fire department, it takes like 2 minutes to get there because they're right on 6th Street. So it doesn't take them long to arrive should somebody need a medical emergency. Any other questions? Anything else back there?
No.
No?
Good.
Okay, who's next? All right, our lovelies from Sedona Winds. Absolutely, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new ones. My name is Terry Cohen, and I was the marketing consultant at Sedona Winds Assisted Living for the last 6 years. I recently took a promotion and now the executive director of the Independent. So today, for those purposes, I will be speaking about the assisted living. So to get a little bit about our community, is we're family owned and operated. Our home office is in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the owner is very present in his communities. We currently have all of these locations in Arizona, and that's all the area that we support right now. Sedona is the only one in Sedona, and the rest are down in the valley. We do have an all-tech community, so if there is a time where you do spend down all of your finances and you need that Medicaid or all-tech assistance from the government, then Sedona Winds is our all-tech community in Phoenix. So oftentimes, if you start at Sedona Winds and you find that you have ran into some financial trouble and you would like to stay within our communities, we can make a smooth transition down to the valley.
Wait a minute, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Alltech is Sedona Winds?
Not at Sedona Winds.
Okay.
So oftentimes they will start at Sedona Winds, and then if a budget issue arises, that will help for a smooth transition down to our sister property.
Okay.
So I just put some good did you know facts. So the median age in Sedona right now is 64 years old, compared to 50 years old in 2000. So right now it seems that people are maintaining their independence a lot longer in their own home. We emphasize on luxury style senior living. We want to maintain your independence so that you can stay healthy and have a long longevity. Our independent is just independent. We do not have certified staff there to help you. So that's when we will make that decision that maybe it's time to go over to our sister property, which is in a separate building. There you will have the 24-hour certified care help to help your needs. That building also has our memory support area that houses 20 different units. We are only private rooms. We do not do shared rooms in our communities, unless it's a significant other or a loved one that you would like to occupy a unit with. These are just some surprising facts about senior living. They're saying that 80 is the new 65. I believe that. At the independent living, I have noticed that I have a healthy demographic of 90-year-olds that are still thriving. We do find that staying active is the best discipline to maintaining that healthy lifestyle, and sometimes you just need a little bit of support to maintain that. We have those chef-inspired dining rooms that help accommodate that, so if you don't want to cook anymore, or if you want housekeeping, but you still want to drive and be active and do things like that, that's possible. The assisted living has a lot of great benefits. Not only do you have the 24-hour certified care to help you, but you have an LPN that oversees your care. So it's really nice to have someone right there responsive if you need questions about your health. They can help you get to those home health agencies. If hospice needs to be introduced, she can help you with that as well. So we have a robust amenities at the assisted living where we provide all 3 meals. Transportation is Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. You book that transportation wherever you want to go. Medical appointments would take priority if that's the case, but oftentimes I see in this community, we're taking residents to their loved one's house. Sometimes it's easier to use a wheelchair lift on our bus than loading up in somebody's vehicle. We don't mind. We want to keep you going for as long as you want. So if you want to go to your daughter's house in Cottonwood, we're happy to take you there. We do provide transportation all of the Verde Valley, Phoenix, Flagstaff, and Prescott. Those transportations outside of the normal Verde Valley are at an additional expense, but we do offer that. The floor plans, we are at the assisted living, we do not have 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and sometimes that is discouraging, and that's when we will talk with Tracy at Cottonwood Village. At the assisted living, the largest we have is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, which is 519 square feet, or on the newer wing, it's 552 square feet. Our studios are very deluxe and large. Most times, a single individual just needs a studio. You have your bedroom, you have your living area, and you have a kitchenette. So everything is very easily to be accessible. Memory support is just the smaller private units, so they're just about 300 square feet, which I think is plenty because there's lots of great common areas. There's a great outdoor area in our memory support with raised garden beds, lots of roaming area if that needs to be the future. Also, I just think that we remodeled both the independent and the assisted living. So we're having a grand reopening tomorrow at the assisted living from 4:30 to 6:30. There's some flyers over there. We just want people to come see. You don't have to necessarily need the assisted living right now, but it's nice to get an idea of what it looks like if that future need arises. So we will invite anyone who wants to come check out either building. We don't mind drop-ins. We're always available for that, or you can schedule an appointment. I'm going to turn it over for Leanne to talk about the independent living.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, so Leanne Jessen, and I'm at the Independent Living, and I see a bunch of my residents here, so it's so exciting to see some people here from my building. Anyway, so I just wanted to go through a few things about independent living, and what we are all about is just to maintain your independent. You have your very own apartment. And it's your very own to bring people in, bring other care people in if you want to, that kind of thing. It's your own apartment, but we have a whole huge community for you to explore and to be a part of, which is so wonderful. So we want to maintain our independence. We have luxury style living. And ones that live there, we have red rock views. It's fabulous. So for our building, we're only 2 stories high, so we're kind of long. If you come over, I'll show you the map and stuff, but we're really long. But it's just the 2 stories because we want to be able to have the red rock views, and being in Sedona, you can't go all the way up. But what's wonderful about the luxury style is everybody has a full kitchen and you have a patio. So we want you to be able to get outside in every apartment. So if you're on the second floor, you have a balcony. So it's wonderful to be able to get some fresh air and get outside. Okay, oh, no, it's okay, we're gonna go on to, I kind of went over that. So amenities. So we're gonna start out movie room. Over right now, they do have a theater room over in our assisted living. It's brand new, it's fabulous. You come tomorrow, you can see it. But we are gonna have one in our independent living. So that's something that we're working on with our next phase of our remodel. So you guys know. Cat's out of the bag now. We have a full calendar of activities. What we do is we have between 6 to 9 activities daily. So there's something to do for everybody. I mean, you get up in the morning, you come down for your continental breakfast, and you see what's on the calendar for the day. You can decide what's going to happen, what you want to do, and meet up with your friends and decide what's happening and what you want to be a part of for that day, which is still fun. And then our activities director, Noreen, she includes the residents in what's going to happen, like for the next month and things like that. If there's things that the residents want to do, you know, we want to go here, we want to do this, different things, different activities. She welcomes that and wants to be, you know, a part of that and be what you guys want it to be, what activities you want to do, which is so wonderful. Okay, and then utilities, everything is included. I've got a worksheet that's fabulous that just shows when you look through, like coming here, going to independent, you can look at everything that you are paying right now, your water bill, your electricity bill, those kind of things, your maintenance, if you're having yard care done, you know, going on and stuff like that. But it's all inclusive. Our rent is just one payment. You don't have to worry about all those extra bills. So transportation, Terry touched on that already, which is fabulous that we go shopping every day. So we're going to Cottonwood, we're going to, you know, the Walmart there, Fry's, we're going to, you know, West Sedona, everywhere. We're just all over the valley. Every day, daily, there's a shopping trip. Okay. Housekeeping is every other week. So, but if you need more housekeeping, you can add that on. You just talk to our housekeeper and they can add that on. So, chef prepared meals. We have a brand new chef, which we're so excited about. He's from Chicago. He had his own restaurant there. He's actually prepared meals for presidents in the past. So he's pretty wonderful. His name's Jason, Chef Jason. We just love him, and he's actually going to start doing everything, just transitioning to more healthy. Right now, everything is made from scratch and healthy food, but he's going to do even more. He's just taking us to the next level, which is going to be fabulous. So then we have 24-hour care, which is our assisted living. Terry already touched on that. And then both of us have an on-site beauty salon, which is wonderful. And Christy is our hairdresser there, and she's fabulous. And she does wonderful things for men too. You can get your nails done, get your hair cut, mustache, everything. So pretty wonderful. Then we have cable and we have satellite TV. We have 72 channels for our cable TV. And if you want to add on more, you can. But that's something that's included. And then we have several activities areas. So we have a whole new activity room over in independent living, and we have a card game area. Most of you, I don't know if you've been over there before, but a lot of people come from the outside to play bridge, to play mahjong, to play, you know, train, to play different games, which is so fun.
Ruby Q.
Yeah, Rummy Q. I mean, I haven't played that one. But anyway, there's lots going on. So, okay, and we have a fitness room. We just got some new bikes in there, which is fabulous. Come over and see our new bikes. You're gonna check that one out, Barbara. See our new, they're great little bikes. You haven't seen them yet. We have guest suites as well. So a lot of our residents, they come in from all over the country. I've got some people coming from New York, Mexico, California, all over. And so we have guest suites that their families can come and stay in if they would choose to. $200 a night, you can reserve it, that kind of thing. Or if family members can stay in your apartment if you have room for 5 days, or you know, you can let us know, talk to Terry and figure that out. But we're welcome family. We want everybody to be happy and have their loved ones around them close. And then, so those are guest suites. And we have a pool, and I'm so excited, we're gonna be opening the pool soon, and we're starting up water aerobics. So that's something really fun. It's a heated pool, and it's a good size, so excited about that. And we welcome pets as well. So cats, dogs, whatever you've got, we welcome them. So we love animals, they're so fun. And we have a walking path all the way around the whole property. So in the morning, you'll see a lot of our residents walking their dogs, right, Dolores? So it's just so fun. So anyway, any questions about that? Anybody have any questions about, yes?
Size restriction of pets?
Well, we had a yellow lab recently, and just depends. You have to get approved. If you have a big, hoggy doggy, then we need to know. We can look at it. Terry will assess it and see if they're well behaved. We have one resident that has, Jerry has a wonderful dog named Sage, and such a great dog. And he's a medium size, kind of like this big, but he is a fabulous dog. So we welcome him, right? So it just depends on the animal. Okay?
Prices?
Oh,
We're gonna get there.
well, I'm gonna get there. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so independent living. So we do have covered parking for residents as well. And then I went over that all utilities are paid, so it's all inclusive, right? It's all one payment. We have the transportation and for shopping and whatever else you need to, just like what they would have at assisted living. And the residents do included in the price is 1 meal a day. So you get to choose either if you want to have the lunch or the dinner, and then it's restaurant style. So you show up for the time that we have the lunch or the dinner, and then you just order off the menu, which is fabulous. And we have every day a continental breakfast in the morning from 8:30 to 9:30. So you come down, and it's a true continental, so coffee, juice, tea, pastries, fruit, that kind of thing. So, and then we have, I went over the housekeeping already, and we have emergency pendants that we have for you would just or when you're on the property. So when you're in your apartment or around the property, they will only work there. They're not like a life alert that when you're off property, it's going to call someone. So what that does, it calls our front desk. So if you have an emergency, then our front desk will come running to you, find out what's going on, what the emergency is, and we can assess the situation. But it's nice because you have that peace of mind when you're in your apartment. Some places where I worked in the past, I worked at a property with Gina actually, we had pole cords in the bathroom. Well, a lot of times the accident doesn't happen in the bathroom. So you have your pendant that you can push. So that's something that we offer as well. So out of the entire property, we have 98 total apartments, and we have 12 different models. So we have a plethora of different choices, which is fun. But we have studio apartments. We have 4 different styles of studio apartments. We have 1 bedrooms, and we have, I think there's 4 different style, 5 different 1-bedroom apartments, because we have a 1-bedroom with a den. And then we've got 4 different 2-bedrooms. So 2 baths, and 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So we've got something for everyone, okay? And then so starting prices. So independent, we start out at $2,700 for our studio price. And then assisted, and I'll go to the top of, we go all the way up to $5,300 for independent living. So, and right now we've got models that are just renovated, so the flooring's all done and everything, but that not a full kitchen. Well, it has a full kitchen, but it's not completely renovated yet. But then we have renovated ones. So we've got both before and after. So you can choose right now until everything gets turned to fully renovated. There's a lot of options, which is wonderful, and you can see the before and after. So, yes?
Are those prices for 1 person or 2 people?
1 person. If you add on a second occupant, it's $850. So if you have a couple, they come in, they pay that one price, and then you add on $850. Good question. Okay, and then, so then the prices for assisted living. So Terry, did you want to speak to that? You already went through the pricing, didn't you?
Well, so for the assisted living, the base price is $39.50. The care is a la carte. We do not do levels. You only pay for the service that you need. So most individuals start with medication management. Roughly that estimate is about $350 per month. So it is individualized to meet you where you're at. The care does cap at $3,500. So even if you need that really high level of care, maybe you need 2 people to care for you, the highest you would pay an additional would be $3,500.
Thank you. And then memory support too. can you speak to that as well?
Memory support is all inclusive. It includes all the care you need today and the future for that flat rate fee.
Okay,
Here's pricing for you.
Thanks.
For independent.
okay. So you're all invited tomorrow evening from 4:30 until 6:30. We have the grand reopening for our assisted living and memory care. So it's right next to my property, which is the independent living. And it's just going to be wonderful. We're actually having a silent auction as well. We have local artists from Sedona, in the area that we're auctioning off. So it's going to be just a fun evening. And we would love for all of you to come if you're curious about that. I'll be touring, Brooklyn will be touring, Terry will all be there. And so we want to be able to show everybody, I want to show everything off. Show everybody. If you want to come over to independent living, I'd be glad to take you back over there and show you there as well. So there you have it. Any questions? Any more questions? Okay, yes.
If you die while you're there, do you have a certain time that you have to be there?
That's a great question. So we allow you, so say that something happens in the middle of the month, you're paid through till the end of the month. So you can continue paying on that unit until your family can come remove the items. We will send you a refund if there's money left over. So say they're able to get all your belongings out on the 20th, we'll refund you the rest of the days in the month. So we don't want to add any pressure to an already tough situation. So we try to have that in place however much time that they need. It just depends on how much money they want to get back.
Which I'd like to add to that too. So if you're in independent living and something happens and you need a higher level of care, we have a smooth transition to our assisted living and memory care. So there's no other incurred fees that you would need to do other than picking out your apartment and then you'd pay the new price over there. But just so you know that, okay?
And then we are running this huge special right now until the end of this month, which is we're reducing our community fee from $4,500 all the way down to $17. And there's a few of them here that have taken that special. You have 30 days to move in. So if you know anyone that's on the cusp about maybe this next transition, the savings is huge, reducing it from that $4,500 to the $17. But since we are family owned and operated, there's always a special. This one is just really great right now, so there's always something that we can do. This special also includes a 2-year rate lock, which some people are nervous about that increase or what the future looks like. We're happy to do a rate lock for you so that you have a little peace of mind.
Perfect. Anybody else have any questions? We're good? So thank you, and we welcome all you guys. I hope I get to see some faces over there tomorrow, so thank you.
And just so everybody knows, that total transition team where I said we got all these various people, our next one is coming up the second Tuesday of May at Sedona Winds.
Woohoo!
Our one, did you decide? We'll be doing one at Cottonwood Villages in the fall. So we're trying to do it like every other month to get all of our team together.
So thank you guys for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are goodies over there if anybody wants them.
There may be some questions.
I guess I'm carrying the end caboose here. I won't be long. I am the one that's going to talk to you about the most important thing. I'm the most important speaker today. That is because in order to get you there, you have to sell your house. And in order to sell your house, you have to have your house ready to sell. And a lot of people do not understand when they've lived in their house for more than 5 years, you have accumulated a lot of stuff that you probably won't be able to take with you to Sedona Winds or wherever you're going, because you're probably going to be downsizing at least to half or more from what you're going to. I relocated here from Ohio 4 years ago, and we lived in our home for 12 years. We had built our home, we had 5 kids, and as we were preparing to move, I thought to myself, how did I accumulate so much stuff? Why do I have 5 Christmas trees? Why do I have all of these things? And I was not ready or prepared to pay to transport it 1,700 miles across the country. So we did a lot of downsizing from 5,000 square feet to 1,300. That's a lot. And it was kind of a good experience for me because now I can relate to you. Before I was in real estate, I was a nurse practitioner for 23 years. The Lord called me out of that field onto my next journey, and I'm so glad He did because He brought me to the place that I absolutely love. But not many people realize how much time and effort and prepared you have to be to put your house on the market. There's a lot that goes into that because you have spent so much time in your house making it yours. You like the colors on the wall, you like the floral bedspread, you like the plaid couch, you like all of the pictures of your grandchildren on the wall and all your certificates of where you graduated. But guess what? Your buyers don't like that because they can't see themselves in your home because you're so prevalent there. And that's okay. But when you're trying to sell your house, it's not going to appeal to anyone. So there's a lot that goes into planning to get your home ready to put on the market. I want to talk to you about a program that Coldwell Banker offers. It's called Revitalize. And this says, fix it up with nothing up front. Doesn't that sound good? You don't have to pay anything. Yeah, don't we all love free stuff? Well, this is an interest-free loan that Coldwell Banker will give sellers to prepare their home to list. You pay that money back at the end of escrow. So there's nothing out of pocket up front for you. You can use this service for painting, decluttering, downsizing, landscaping, giving your house a fresh new look in any way that, typically what our suggestion might be. There is a limit, it's usually $50,000, but how the budget comes into play is it's from the list side commission. So if you haven't sold a home recently, most of the listing side is a 3% commission that you would pay to your real estate agent. So if that commission amount is $12,000, then Revitalize will give you a $12,000 budget to do whatever you need to do to your home to get it ready to list. There are some regulations, as there always are, and that is that they have to utilize vendors who are approved by Angie. One of the things that Gina and I have been able to do is get a lot of our vendors approved through this program. Why is that important? Because we know them, we trust them, we know what we have to say to them to get their butts moving and to get the job done. We have a timeline.
And they do it right the first time.
And they do it right the first time.
I can't say that about all contractors, but
if you didn't utilize someone who didn't have a list of vendors, I will just tell you, you know where your vendor's coming from, right? Phoenix. They don't really know this area. And they just have a different way of working than how we like to work, which is we have to get stuff done. So it's important when you are doing any work for your home that you know and you trust these people. And we have to know and trust them as well. And so that's one thing that we have tried our best to spearhead this program because it's something that you guys need. You don't realize you need it until we come in and we say, these 3 things probably would give you a huge return on your investment. Let me give you an example. I'm going to pass this around. This is a house out in Rimrock that when you look at these pictures, you're going to be like, oh, this is such a nice house. And I'm going to tell you, just take one. I'm going to tell you, you can do. Well, you can pass it around. This is such a nice house, but I'm going to tell you, when we got there, you couldn't walk through the house because there was stuff everywhere. There was crayon on the walls, they had 5 kids, there was just dirt everywhere. Just the house was a disaster. The yard, if you look on the back cover, the yard was full of stuff.
We're not just talking weeds, we're talking.
And I'm not just talking weeds. I'm talking, kids' socks, a tire here, a cooler there, like you name it, it was in their yard. And I said, hey, we need to revitalize health because we got a lot of work to do here. And I thought, if we put this house on the market, we'll be lucky to see 330.
It's on 2 acres.
It's on 2 acres out in their front. They own their solar. And they got this extra shed. It's a very nice property. I thought, there's no way we're going to even see 350. So we got the Revitalize approved. We had a $15,000 budget. We sold that house for $395 and put $15,000 into it. I mean, when I got the offer, I was like, yeah, where do we sign? Because I wasn't even expecting that. So one of the things, the goal of this program is to maximize your return on investment in any way that we can. Now, let's say you don't want to use Revitalize because you don't want to pay the money back or whatever reason. That's totally fine. You want to use your own vendors or whatever. Gina and I do come out. If you want us to do a consult, we do a consult for $350. If you end up working with us for us to manage whatever project you want us to do, that fee is waived. But if you do have the ability to utilize our services for staging, for decluttering, downsizing, whatever, just call and ask, what you think, or if you want us to do a consult for you, we're happy to do that. It's just, there's so much that goes into listing a home that people don't realize, because we just don't put a sign in your yard. If you have an agent that puts a sign in your yard and walks away, that's just not us. We are partnering with you to get your home ready to list, to sell, not to sit on the market. So, I just wanted to tell you how important it is to get your home ready, because people don't realize how much goes into just getting it ready. It's a lot. So, is there any questions before we end?
Gail, did you have a question?
I have a question. If somebody is hoping to get into one of the situations, and you have to sell a house currently with the world as it is, how has that been affecting the sales in the Verde Valley?
Well, I can tell you I have 2 homes in escrow right now, and I've closed a deal every month this year. So I don't feel that selling homes right now has not stopped. Are they taking longer to sell? That might be possible. For any of you that are interested in knowing further more about that, I do have a YouTube channel called Livin, L-I-V-I-N, in Sedona that talks about the market and what buyers are doing right now. The listings are, if you're just a normal listing, let's say you don't have a $3 million home that everybody from California wants to buy, your home probably is going to take about 2 to 3 months to sell. That's just, there's obviously ones that go like that. But the average days on market right now are really between that, 60 to 70 day mark. That house was, I don't know, 3 weeks? I mean, I was shocked. I thought I'd be sitting on this house, but that was it.
But it's a buyer's favored right now than versus.
Are you asking if it's a buyer's market?
Yeah.
I do feel that way. You know why? They're pickier. And that's why it's important for you to do something about your home before you list it. They are negotiating. They want move-in ready properties. They don't want projects. They do not want a project. They walk up to your front door and all they see is a project when they walk in the kitchen, or they got to redo the bathrooms, or they got to, do something major. They are going to negotiate with you on price.
Tammy,
Yes, ma'am.
can I just add something?
What I've seen lately is that a bunch of people that have come to us and have moved in, they have taken an apartment with us and then they've staged their apartment how they want it. They've taken everything from their house and made it exactly what they want in the apartment. Then they've gone back to the realtor and then they figured out what looks good in their house and staged the house perfectly.
Yeah, we don't always bring in furniture for staging. Staging isn't interior design. Staging is making your property ready to appeal to all the buyers that are going to come through. And you bring up such a great example because we actually did this for a couple that they needed to use the Revitalize program and they were going to an assisted living facility in Phoenix. And they actually had the floor plan of where they were going. And I was so glad that she had that because she thought she was taking everything in her house with her. And I said, you have, I think it was just under 1,000 square feet. It was a bigger unit because it was 2 bedrooms. But there was no way that we were going from a 1,600 square foot house to a little apartment that was like 980 square feet. And there's no garage. And all of you have a lot of stuff in that garage. So that's even a better thing. If you can figure out your floor plan, if you've got your floor plan, then you can figure out what you can take with you and what you have to get rid of. And, you know, if we can't sell it, there are so many people in need. I just emptied out a house that I couldn't even get Habitat to come because they had 3 estate sales in Sedona the weekend prior and they had no room. She said, I cannot come and get this. But I'm part of a local church, as you guys are all, and somebody had just moved here, and he had nothing. I said, you need a bed, you need a couch, what do you need? He came and got it. You know, so God provides those ways, you know. So, yeah. Go ahead.
You organize home sales, property.
We have contacts that we use. We, what's Sonia and, what's their name of theirs?
Who?
Sonia and
Sonia's
estate sale. Oh, see, I should remember that. That's her first name. So we actually utilize 3 different ones that we have. It really, sometimes it's hard to get on their calendar, so it depends on how far they're booked out. But we got 3 to use, we got 3 to choose from, and so, you know, that it really is based on how fast do we got to have this estate sale and what's your calendar open. But yes, we do organize that, put you in contact with those people.
And we, just to use the example of Sam and Dory's, when we got an offer on Dory's place, we didn't have time to do her estate sale, but I had another seller like 2 streets over in Verde Santa Fe that I already had his estate sale on their calendar. So I just made a phone call and said, can we move the stuff that she needs to sell to his and combine them? And they were right there. They moved the furniture, they moved everything that we needed to get it. And otherwise she would have had to wait. She couldn't do her 30-day close. And it's like, that's what I said about thinking outside the box.
I was just getting ready to say that. We think outside the box.
Yeah, and we've got other realtors besides, well, most of them are Coldwell Banker agents, like Cindy Chapman and Tom Garrow are top sellers. They don't know anything about downsizing. They call Cammie and I because we know the Revitalize program and we know what can happen. We've even done landscaping updates because I can consider that part of staging.
Well, it is. It's repairing the outside.
Yeah.
Your home. People walk up to your home. They don't want to see junk anymore.
Yeah, it's the first impression. It's curb appeal.
Yes.
What realtors call it. And it's like we had that one in Kramer over in Rimrock. We had a bush that was dead in the yard, and they had a row of bushes that blocked their house from the street. And Tom was like, well, just take them all out. I was like, no, we don't take out shade trees in Arizona. I said, we could take out the dead bush, and then they've got papers in the backyard. We could take and make a little walkway path without more investment. The materials were already there. It's just, how can we make this look good? And it's like, we just handled it from beginning to end.
And
common
so,
area use.
yeah, just one thing I'll mention, if there's any other questions. Why we work as a team is because sometimes it's better if one of us lists, one of us does the project, because it's hard. We could do it both at the same time, but it's a little challenging. So we try to have us both on board in some way. It's better. Two heads are better than one sometimes. And right now, she doesn't have an arm, so.
I broke this shoulder. Helping one of my clients who herself had fallen face first into the street. Her neighbors called 911. She spent a week in Flagstaff. She had to spend 2 months over in Prescott Valley. She had a severe brain injury. Broke this bone over her eye. And so we were getting ready to close her escrow last week. And it was like, we were closing on Wednesday. She still had some things in her yard that she wanted to move to her new apartment. So I was over there trying to get those out of the yard, and the landscaping rocks I was standing on shifted. And because I'd had a knee replacement done 4 years ago, I knew I can't fall on that knee, so I tried to tuck and roll, and I took a little weight on the shoulder, and now I've got it's broken in 2 places, so I got shoulder surgery. But yeah, so Kimmy's my taxi driver. I called her when I fell because I couldn't reach my daughter. My husband didn't have a car to come get me, so I yelled out to a neighbor across the street who came over and helped me get up. And then I called Kimmy and said, "Hey, wait, come help me." But it's like, you do what you have to do, and it's like I helped Cheryl get packed, get moved, do her estate sale, get everything done. It's like knowing those people. I think that's why Kimmy and I started working together. I've lived here since 1997. I managed a senior community. I managed the Sedona Golf Resort when it was first being built. And so I knew a lot of contractors, and they know me, and that's what she was talking about. When we do a real vitalized program, we say, no, we're not going to use your Angie contractors. We'll use our contractors. Because I've been here since 1997. My contractors know my expectations. Because I used to manage 5-star resorts and 5-star senior communities. It's like, they know my expectations. I don't have to babysit them. I can line them up because we've done everything from roof replacements to mold remediation because of the leaks and the mold that got in the house because of the leaks. Then gutting it and redoing. I just did one for Cindy Chapman recently. And we took what they were going to list the property in the 900 range. The owner ended up spending about $50,000, and it's currently listed for 1.2. So he's making over $300,000 difference by only spending the $60,000. And a lot of that he wouldn't have had to spend if he'd known about the roof leak, but he had to maintain the home well. And it's like, so he had to pay almost $10,000 between the roof replacement and the mold remediation. So it's like, just knowing that stuff, and then they've already got an offer on it. It's only been on the market. I don't even think the sign's been in the yard for a few days, and they've already got an offer on it. It's pretty close.
But it's ready to, it's a property that's ready to go. It doesn't need work. So, any other questions?